Prakashorkasya toyasya shaityamagniryatoshnata svabhava satchidanandan ityanirmalatatmanaha. Prakasha, luminosity, arkasya, of the sun, toyasya, for water, shaityam, coolness, Agnehe, for fire, yata, just as, ushnata, heat, svabhavaha, nature, sat, reality, chit, consciousness, ananda, bliss, nitya, eternity, nirmalata, purity, Ātmanaha, of the Ātman. Just as luminosity is the nature of the sun, coolness is the nature of water, and heat of fire, eternity, purity, reality, consciousness, and bliss is the nature of Ātman.
Namaste. So, one's own nature, or the nature of anything, is svabhava in Sanskrit. And looking in the Sanskrit dictionary, it says, own condition or state of being, natural state or constitution, innate or inherent disposition, nature, impulse, or spontaneous behavior. So this is the nature of the self. Just like the sun's nature is heat, water's nature is cooling, the nature of the self is consciousness, bliss, infinite existence, boundarylessness, no qualities, but its own nature. In other words, a quality is a different word. That's a lakshana. That is something added to one's nature. But a svabhava is a quality that is one's own nature without any additions or subtractions. Just the way something is. So Brahman, by being the origin of everything, is the greatest. And because it has no boundaries, it's infinite. Because it's infinite, it cannot be covered by anything. Yet, we see in the world that Brahman is apparently become multiple due to the coverings of the upadhis, the individual self. But as we discussed elaborately over the last few days in our study group, this is only due to an inversion of context. Brahman, in the context of the world, seems small, divided, relatively powerless. And it has different qualities like species, sex, male or female, and different grades of intelligence, activity, energy, and so on. This is only due to the upadhis. If we reset the context back to the original, that Brahman is the context and the world is the content, a very funny thing happens. The world disappears. Now, how do we do this? In deep meditation. Instead of thinking the body is real, the mind is giving me the truth about my perceptions and experiences, objects in the world have real existence, and so on like that. That is only true when Brahman is the content and the world is the context. That's the reverse. That's the context switch. But when we reset the context so that Brahman is the background, the context, and the world is the content, then we see, oh, actually Brahman is one, limitless, without qualities, actions, or any kind of labels like the doer, the possessor, the owner, the enjoyer, etc., etc. And that the world, as a conditioned, apparent transformation of Brahman, doesn't really exist. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Brahman is the truth, is real, is existent. And Jagan, the world of multifarious objects, is mithya. This is a very special word. It doesn't exactly mean illusory because the world is perceived, isn't it? So it has a kind of reality. But the reality is that of the snake seen in the rope. It's conditional. It's based on a misperception, a misunderstanding. And once that misunderstanding is cleared by active knowledge, the truth about Brahman, the world is seen as simply an illusion. Just as a mirage in the desert, it looks like water, but if one goes to where it seems to be located, it retreats farther away. And there's no actual water at the place where it appeared to be before. So similarly to the snake seen in the rope and the mirage seen in the desert, the material creation is only seen as an illusion due to ignorance. Ignorance and forgetfulness of our real nature allows upadhis to cover Brahman and make it appear that there are people, animals, objects, stuff happening, all the things that we see in the world. But this is only because of imagination. It's not real. The way we can tell is that everything in the material world has a beginning and an end. But consciousness does not. Now, again, from the point of view of the context being the world, consciousness appears to arise and disappear and change from Jagrat to Svapna to Sushupti and back again. But actually, consciousness never changes because consciousness, again, covered by upadhis, appears to be waking, dreaming, and deep sleep, but it's actually always aware. Even if there's nothing to be aware of. And you can perform the experiment yourself by executing the series of meditations in the Buddha's teaching on jhanas. There are 8 jhanas, and they go in gradual ascending abstraction from silence of the mind through rapture and bliss to total equanimity, to infinite space, infinite consciousness, neither perception nor non-perception, nothingness. Nothingness is also the end result of the Upanishadic process of neti, not this, not this, which is intended for the removal of the koshas. And we went over the koshas in a couple of previous videos. They are the coverings, the sheaths that cover the consciousness and give it the appearance of an object, a thing, a phenomenon in the material world. But to those who are self-realized, to those who are awakened, to those who have knowledge, all these are simply mithya, illusions, like the snake on the rope or the water in the desert, or the moon reflected in the water. These have to be removed. And the way they are removed is by resetting the context back to the original, where Brahman is the background, Brahman is the context, and the various phenomena of the material creation are the content. And in that view, the material world disappears. Just like the snake disappears when a lamp is brought, or the water in the desert disappears when one goes to its apparent location, or one raises one's eyes from the moving water to the actual moon in the sky. We all discussed these metaphors in previous videos. So this is done through meditation. And before meditation, meditation is the third stage, actually, nididhyasana. There's shravana, hearing the knowledge, manana, explaining the knowledge to oneself and thinking through it again and again until one gains the point of view of the Brahmajnana, the tmabodhah, the real knowledge about the nature of the self.
Om Tat Sat, Om Shakti.